Alrighty everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at the Ghoulish Gourd Pub and Grill. So some quick backstory on this house. Today we went to Michael's and we'd received a 25% off everything sales purchase or something along those lines, including sales items, pardon me. And this is the first time we've received it since Spooky Town has came out. We know some other people got it on and off throughout the month. There's some real holes in the way that Michael sends out their coupons. I've heard a lot of different versions of the real reason. I don't know why that is, why not everybody gets them. I know there was at least 2 that went out that I heard about that we never got. Both me and my wife are signed up and neither of us get them. We get everything else, but not those ones. So we were kind of excited when this one did come in, and only I got it for whatever reason. She did not. Which was a bummer because, these houses definitely went up, but, coupons usually allow us to buy a little bit more, but this year, not so much. So anyway, the story with this house was they had one left. As we all know, stock gets very low very quickly. I saw it, I jumped on the opportunity for it, was super excited about it, and I think like many of us, I opened it up and it had a problem. So, went back and talked to the Michael's manager about it, and she made me an offer. She said, look, I can return this for you, and you can get something different, but the stock that was left wasn't really anything too exciting. She goes, or I'll mark this house down 70% and you take it as is. Now that kind of interests me because I really been kind of focusing on learning how to fix these houses because so many of them break. It just kind of seems like, there's not too many people that do fix them, and those that do don't live anywhere near where I live. So you're talking shipping back and forth, labor and whatnot. At that point, depending on the house you're looking at, it's cheaper just to, keep it the way it is. It could cost more to have it fixed than it was to begin with, especially on a house that wasn't all that much to begin with. I mean, this one was a little bit more expensive, but even so, if you're spending more money on the repair than the house is worth, that's a problem. I mean, granted, I got this one 70% off, but something tells me it'd cost more than $40 to fix it, and at that case, I don't know. So anyway, I thought the best thing I could do would be start learning how to fix these houses. So I've done a couple repair videos on things of this nature. So far, I had some pretty good luck. So hopefully, we're gonna have that same luck tonight. Let me start off by showing you what the problem is, the surprise that I got. So here we go. It is plugged in with the adapter that came with it, and let me just repeat, this house was purchased hours ago. Okay, so you're looking at an out-of-the-box experience right here. Here we go. All right, I'm not sure if you can hear that. Let me move it up to the mic. Yeah, that's no good. The other thing that I noticed is the light in this guy is very, very dim. Definitely not like the store display versions. In fact, it was off at Michael's today when we were testing the house, when I was showing her that it had an issue. It appears to have came back on. Let me turn this off real quick. Oh, the sound does work though. But it does not drown out that very, very annoying sound. So anyway, the light is showing now, but barely, so we're gonna take a look at that. But more importantly, that awful, god-awful click noise, guys. That stuff drives me crazy. I know some of these older houses have a little bit louder mechanisms and things like that, and I'm an old school guy, so I live with that, no problem. But we're in 2020, and there's just no reason for this kind of thing. I'm a huge, huge Lemax fan. I've been collecting my whole entire life since I was very, very little. But this one is just driving me bananas. So my hope is today that we can look into it, because I'm sure I'm not the only one with this problem. I know I posted about this on the I Love Spooky Town Facebook group, shout out. And there was definitely some complaints in regards to this issue. So we're going to look at that today and see where it takes us. I've never opened up this house before. This will be a first time for me. So we're going to learn this one together. So here we go. Okay, so there's a couple things we can do to start. I want to let you know that in between takes here, I was moving the house around and I heard a little bit of a jiggle or something in there. I don't know if you can hear it. Yes, I know that the shaking a little bit from the pumpkins themselves, but there's actually something in there too that it's like falling or something in there. I don't know. We're going to have to see what's going on in that. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but I sure can. So there's a few things, like I was saying, we can do. I was initially looking to see if there was a spot we could take off from the pumpkins and work our way down. But I don't know if I can if there's even screws under here. I have no idea. They do look glued on. I don't want to break them or screw up the paint if I don't have to fix this. So that brings us to our second scenario. See if you can see this here. There we go. I want to take off the black mat on the bottom here. So the house is broken, and I think that I'd rather at least attempt to fix it, and like I always tell you guys, give it new life, than to try to save the mat for collector's value or whatever, because the truth is I'm never going to sell my collection anyway, at least as long as I can help it, of course. And you can get a new mat from the hobby store that'll do the same job. So that's probably what I'll end up doing. I would have bought another mat today had I thought about it while I was there. But I did not. So there's a few ways to take it off. There's a couple different tools I've seen people use. I'm going to have to kind of use what I have here. So I think what we're going to do is take a hair dryer, because a heat gun is just going to melt this instantly. I think a hair dryer is going to do the same thing. And I think in the end, I'm probably just going to have to slice this thing off and it's just going to be a circus. But what I'm going to attempt to do is take a hair dryer and try to go somewhere between warm and little hotter than warm. I have no idea. We're just to loosen the glue and see if I can start to kind of peel it back. I also have a razor blade with me. I'll do the best I can on it. I know in some of the older houses they tend to come off because the glue's a little bit, older and kind of gives a little bit easier. But this should be a lot fresher of glue, and I think I don't know. I think it's going to be tough, but we're going to try it, and we're going to do it together here and see if we can get it off. And we'll see what's underneath. Like I said, I have no idea. I'm hoping that there's some holes we can get into or some screws or something, because they obviously had to put this house together at some point. So we're going to try to start with the hair dryer and see if I can get a blade or something in there. And like I said, if I slice it and we end up cutting it, so what? Obviously I'm going to try not to, but I'm sure it's worth more working anyway than not working with a good mat on the bottom. So that's what we're going to try to do. So let me get our materials and we'll get going. Okay, we got it off though. That's exciting. And relatively in one piece. I mean, let me show it to you. A little tear, but nothing that's gonna matter. You can see the little tear right there, but that's gonna go right back into place and you're never even gonna know it's there. What we're gonna do next is try to get into these bottom areas here. Wow, guys, the boards weren't even attempted to be mounted. I'll show you right now. Give me a second. Okay. So let me see. Hopefully you can see that. They're literally just hanging out in there. There's no screws. Look, it's just falling around. So my guess is that's partly what the jiggling was that we were hearing. I see multiple boards literally not in at all. So that's always great. So I think what we're going to do now is I'm I'm gonna grab a light, see if I have one laying around right here, and I'm gonna turn it on and just kind of look inside of it and see if there's anything just initially going on that might indicate a problem. So before I opened up the house, it appeared to be coming from the right-ish kind of side. It was hard to tell exactly. When I opened the house and I saw the wheel that's extremely loose in there, which actually you might be able to see a little bit better from this side, I don't know. It looked like maybe it was coming from there, but now, even though I'm in there, it sounds like it's coming back from the right again, not the left. And I do see another drive shaft and a bunch of other stuff and wires all in there and a bunch of stuff. So I think we're really gonna have to gut this thing to figure it out. I'd like to figure out if we can also disconnect this speaker from somewhere. So I'm gonna see if I can do that and just get that out of the way now. I don't see any initial damage to the board or the capacitor. You should be looking for, you know, everything from burnt marks to like sometimes if a capacitor goes bad, you'll see like a bulge on top, or it could be leaking, something like that. But both of these look just fine, and I don't think that would probably most likely be what would cause an issue like this anyway. All right. So there's another, let me see if I can show you this. I don't know if you can see that black drive shaft in there, but I think that now is where the problem is coming from. As much as I do think the other wheel is not in all that good a shape on the left side, because it's definitely jiggling a lot. The sound, let me listen again. Yeah, the sound's coming from the right, definitely. And of course, there's no sound music-wise right now because we've unplugged the speaker. And of course, took out this little guy. Also, side note, the speaker only plugs in one way, so you can't really screw that up. Or so it appeared. Because I think, yeah, the clips can only fit one way. Okay, so let me just look around here, guys, and see what's next on this. The motor's spinning fine, but I can definitely see bounce in the gears, which could be causing what we're hearing. The belt doesn't appear to be slipping. It actually looks like the gears are bouncing and kind of off sync. Yeah, in fact, I see one gear completely like jumping down on rotation, like it's going and then hits downward and comes back up, and yeah, that's an issue. Also, it appears that the two pumpkins are loaded in from the top, and if I had to take a guess, I'm gonna say they're hot glued on or something, or maybe not hot glue, but some kind of adhesive. Because it looks like when you open or look from the bottom, it looks like these are like one big thing, like the pumpkin, the mechanism, you know, the drive shaft, or transmission, whatever you want to call it, the gears, all that is kind of in one. Yeah, I can see something on, what is this, gear 1, gear 2? It's whatever the bottom gear is. I don't know if you can see that. It's like a little piece of debris or something. I see a couple pieces. It's almost like maybe leftover stuff from when they were building the house initially. I don't know. Let's see if I can get it out. It's one random piece. I don't know what that is. And then haha, would you look at that? And then I think what we're gonna do is, after this is tacky enough, we're going to, obviously we gotta plug back in our speaker, so we're gonna do that. And there is some bend to this part because you have to squeeze it together to get it in. Just be careful, there's no wires, which in this case there is, so we're gonna have to tuck those to the side or something. So, to get the little bartender in, I'm going to add a little hot glue just kind of around the edge here. And I'm gonna do it on the back side and just a touch on the front, because I don't want you to be able to see it. Ah, I almost forgot the bottom mat, so we'll just place that back on real quick. So if you have this problem, guys, or something similar, you know, there's a good chance, just like this house, there was some debris in the tracks. Some WD-40 could fix it if it's just squeaking a little bit. Could have been more serious, could have needed some gears reset or a new gear. Teeth could have been broken, but we were lucky on this one. Overall, I think it's ready to rock. It's like brand new again. This definitely isn't the most quietest house, like I said earlier. A lot of people have been complaining about that even when it comes working. You know, you hear the click of the, you know, pumpkin twisting in this thing, and, you know, but all in all, once you put the music on, you're not going to hear it, especially with all the other houses around it. It's going to blend right in, and it's not that loud. So anyway, there we go. Our cover is back on. I just kind of pressed it everywhere, you know. Some spray adhesive would probably be the best option, just to, you know, keep it fresh. I'm trying to keep the stickers on there, sorry. But this worked just fine. So if you're in a situation like me where you don't have access at the moment to more spray adhesive, just rock with the old stuff, just like we did the glue from earlier. So I'm gonna hit the lights and we'll do some close-ups and let you see what we got. So there we go, guys, for 40 bucks. Not a bad deal, huh? A little bit of time to get it going, but it's gonna go on now and be displayed for many years to come. I absolutely love this piece. I think it's just super, super cool. I love the pumpkins. I know a lot of people were concerned about them breaking or had them break, but as you can see, sometimes it's just a little fix to get it rocking again. So thank you so much again for checking out my channel and watching this video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one.